DJ, producer, online coach.
If somebody doesn't like me, but they still choose to follow to keep up, you're going to hate 2026.
I love that.
Because peekaboo, here I am again.
Oh yeah, dude. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced. And so there's like this expression that once a mind has been shaped by a new experience, it'll never go back to its original form.
If there's two people applying for the same job and one person is fat and out of shape and the other person is not, I'm gonna hire the person that is not.
The frequencies of the sub and like the vibration and everything just like felt like I was living inside of the music. And so that's when I realized like, no wonder people enjoy this type of music in this experience with this drug.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Free Game with Crack podcast. Today I have Brandon Real, aka Be Real Beats.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, man.
So I like to start off with how we met. How we met was what, a few months back? Actually, like meeting in person.
Yeah, the social media thing was like early September.
Yeah. And I was looking for help with a specific role at the studio. And what stood out about you is you didn't just say like, I'm interested. You said, I'm the guy. And then that led to like us doing a phone call or a video call. Then we did a video call. Then I think a second video call. Then it switched and you were like, what are you doing next week? Like, I'll just drive up. So we're in Lansing, Michigan at Crack House Studios. And Brandon is in Indianapolis, Indiana. So it's about 4 hours away. But like, how we were just talking about before this, being agile or flexible to just kind of do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, I'll just come up there.
Yeah.
And came up here,
easier.
Spent a couple days at the studio. I realized how fucking smart you are. We did a lot of whiteboard shit. Yeah. That led to, I think you came back maybe a week later or 2 weeks later.
Something like
Spent
that.
another couple days figuring things out. You made a whole course. And then here's your third trip to Lansing.
Yeah.
Doing podcasts. You met the guys at the studio. So you have a music background, but a creative warrior mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I started making music like 8-9 years ago now. And that has evolved immensely since I started making trap beats, like Be Real Beats. Like originally it was just trap beats, trying to sell beats online, work with rappers in my city, executive produce a project. And then I started going to music festivals around a similar time. And then eventually realized that for me to find more alignment with what I was doing creatively, the community and the culture and the people in EDM, just a lot more alignment. And so I started making bass music. And then since then, now I have a duo project, which is the Space Masters, and then the Be Real Beats project, which is just my solo project. Just played my second show in Chicago 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's going good.
There's a few things I want to talk about specifically. One is you're one of the most disciplined people that I've ever met.
I appreciate that.
And, you know, the goal with all of these podcasts is to give the audience free game. And there's a lot of free game that you can share on creating routine, showing up, being intentional, and sticking to what you're supposed to do, like holding yourself accountable. So we will get into that. But then also, I've never been to a festival.
Yeah.
And I remember one of our first times meeting, we went for a walk and I was like, put me on game with festivals. Like, what about them is different? And you're like, it's a whole lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
So I want to talk to people about that. But I guess where do we start?
I mean, we could start with, I guess, that first kind of interaction when I came up here. You know, I didn't really know what to expect. We had a couple phone calls and I came up here with the intention of us like really getting down to work on the goal, which was to integrate me into helping you like with the studio and
building the studio, basically.
Yeah. And I think before we even dived into any of that, you know, I had a 4-hour drive, so I was looking to decompress and we all took a walk. And we probably took an hour-long walk.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just a really great opportunity for us. We started talking about everything. You know what I mean? And I can't really share who I am as a person without speaking on my lifestyle, going to shows, going to festivals.
Let's talk about it. Somebody watching this has never been to a festival, so they don't understand what you're talking about. You're like, part of my lifestyle, it has to include festivals. Like, what do you mean festivals?
Yeah. So I have a big belief that everyone, doesn't matter age, gender, race, anything, every single person should at least go to one music festival in their life with their friends.
Why?
That's a good question. Well, for starters, we're at this point, we're adults, we've grown up and we've gotten so assimilated and used to what the real world is, And as we grow older and like we kind of like learn what is and isn't acceptable, and like we have our family, our friends, our society, our communities, like they teach us, how we're supposed to live, or like what we're supposed to wear, how we're supposed to talk. And like we get kind of used to what everyone else is like expecting of us. And when you go to a music festival, you are kind of reintroduced to a playground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of adults going to a place to escape from reality. But what you realize is that at the festival, everyone is being their true self. And that is the realest it can get. And you add like amazing music, a bunch of, people who are all on a similar wavelength for whatever reason. And you get to be free. Most of them are outside. I recommend going to a festival outside first, because there's indoor festivals and shows and stuff like that. But like going out camping with, a group of your friends, and you meet so many people and you realize like everyone is so friendly, and every single person you meet has a story, and every single person you meet is unique, but like we're all there for the similar reasons, which is to like just express ourselves with our fashion or our outfits, or everyone's got like their own style of music they like. And most of these festivals, they might be a specific like genre of music, but there's still flavors, And so you're going to different sets every hour. There's a new DJ, and you're just like experiencing a new vibe with the same people. And then like you just start to connect, and you start to realize like, man, this is one of the most, how do I want to word it? Free experiences that you can have. There's no rules. And everyone looks out for each other. Everyone takes care of each other. And so when you do that, you're really finding out like more about yourself. And that's like the high level reason. And then, you get to just have like an absolute blast. And that's something that I feel like everyone needs to experience, because we're so like caught up in, work or family or things that are important. And we need like a thing to do to go get away from all that for a little bit and just reconnect with, I don't know if I want to say our inner child, but probably.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like, how they have rage rooms?
Yeah.
Where it's like an escape and people just let loose and free.
Yeah.
Would you say there's like a hangover that comes after a festival that lasts days or weeks?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you partake, for sure.
Okay. How did you partake? Kind of like your first.
Yeah. So, my like first experience.
Yeah. Did you make some mistakes that you did differently the next time, or?
Yeah. So I got started in all this. I'm from Indianapolis. So like we have the Indy 500, and the Snake Pit is a rave that goes on during the race inside the track.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So like it's being televised?
Yeah.
The race?
Yeah. The races, and they're also like shooting the festival or the show, rave, whatever you want to call it, as the race is going on.
Okay.
So we're not watching the race. We're inside of the Snake Pit watching the show. And that's like where me and all my friends got started.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that was my first experience. You know, we all went, we did our thing, to say the least. And most of my friends like enjoyed it because it was a big party. I also enjoyed it because it was a big party, but I met some people there that, so the Indy 500, the Snake Pit is a flavor of the bigger picture, because you still have people who are just there to, you know, drink beer all day and get wasted, and like by noon they don't care what's going on anymore because they're so drunk or whatever, you know what I mean? And but then you have other people who are like more experienced and going to shows, going to festivals. You realize like this is a marathon, not a sprint. And it starts at like 7 a.m, ends at 3 when the race is over. And so
3 p.m.
Yeah. So you're out there all day and it's hot. It's, you know, you're sweating bullets. People are getting carted off sometimes, like, cause they didn't hang, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me personally, I'm so social, dude, like, especially in these environments, to where I'll go with my group and then they'll see me hours later and be like, where have you been? You know? And I'm just like bringing over like 10 more people that I've just met, and our group's like a bigger group. And, so for me, it was more about like connecting with the people who were already involved in that community and scene. And that's like what I took away from it. Not just like, oh, we're just like having a good time one day. Gotcha. So I was looking for something more. So yeah, like whenever it's over, whenever you're done with it, you kind of get like snap back to reality for a couple days. And if you like partake in party favors or whatever, like obviously you're going to have like a decent amount of just like neurochemistry rebalancing for a couple days, which it never like puts you down and out for the count, you know?
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, some people go too hard, do too many things, but for me personally, it's more about like finding out like what vibe I'm going for and getting there and staying there, not seeking extra or doing too much or losing my composure, if you will, in that environment. And so, yeah, like you coming back and you have to like readjust and realize that like I just had the most fun I've ever had with some of the best people I've ever met. And it's probably going to be a couple more months before I go experience that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, based on what you know about me, I am reserved,
for sure,
introverted. Can you imagine me at a festival?
Yeah, I can. There's something for everyone.
Okay.
You know, it's one of those things where everyone respects everyone, no matter how you want to do it. There's no wrong answers. Do you see any older, like 50-year-olds or 60-year-olds or? Absolutely. I mean, obviously your typical probably like age range is going to be 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
But I've met and become friends with a lot of people who are in their 40s just from this specifically, like people I would have never connected with outside. Cause you're not, you know, usually, you know, if you're a 20, 30-year-old man or whatever, you're not like hanging out with 40-year-olds, or you're not like hanging out with, you know, it brings you into a realm where you connect with a lot of people who are from so many different walks of life. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's just no wrong way to do it. And so like for you specifically, you would go and you would have the absolute time of your life.
What do you think the common theme that everyone is after? Is it like the escape or the freedom?
If I had to boil it down to one word, it would be connection.
Ooh.
Yeah. Connection to self, first and foremost.
Talk about that.
So
it's like opening your mind to, we talked about that hour walk that we had that first day. You're talking about like it changed your whole kind of like outlook and perspective on life. It was going to the first one, and it might have been having a thing or two added to the mix. Yeah. So, my first experience with anything like this specifically was actually not even a rave or a festival. It was spring break. I guess to what extent can I share the story? Cause I'm not shy. Yeah. All the
way.
way.
What I mean? So
Real quick, this episode is sponsored by Jerry's Automotive right here in Lansing, Michigan. If you're in the need of any type of regular vehicle maintenance or even major repairs, I highly recommend Jerry's Automotive. They're family owned and operated for 60 plus years, and they're just great people, and they know what they're doing there. So make sure if you need any auto repair, you go to Jerry's Automotive in Lansing, Michigan, and you can go to their website and book your next appointment at freegamewithcrack.com/Jerry's. That'll take you directly to Jerry's Automotive. Back to the episode.
Me and my 4 best friends, we were all living in Bloomington. Half of them were going to IU. The other half of us weren't. We took a spring break trip to Fort Lauderdale.
How old were you?
I was 19.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Okay.
it would have been my sophomore year of college if I was like still in college. So we all go to spring break and we do like your typical college spring break experience for like the first 4 days. And on the 4th day, it was like one of our friends' birthday. And he didn't even make it out for his own birthday, if that tells you like just how hard we were going, you know, drinking, doing all the things. And so we're all just like, after that day, it's like Thursday of spring break. So, you know, you're there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's Thursday. And we're all like, we are not touching alcohol for the rest of this week.
Okay.
That was like what we told ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
So on Thursday, we wake up and everyone's hungover. Everyone's just like done for. And one of our friends is like, yo, guys, like, I brought a surprise for everyone. And we're like, okay, what is it? He's like, I got Molly for all of us. And we're like, oh, okay, like we've heard of Molly. We saw Project X. They're all like doing ecstasy and stuff like that. That's like my only, I guess, reference point of what this is. So I'm thinking like, guys, like I'm not trying to get involved in this or whatever. So I go on my phone and I'm looking up like rollsafe.com is a website. You can go on there and like learn how to do it correctly, how to make sure you're not going to like overheat or whatever. Right.
That's very responsible of you.
Yeah. I mean, I still to this day respect all forms of, you know, drug use or whatever. Like I said, it's a free for all. Everyone does whatever they want to do. There's no rules, but like, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of other people. And so like, for me, a big aspect of this is like being responsible because I want to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we basically figure out like, okay, like this people do this a lot. This isn't like a new thing. Like we're doing something new, but this isn't something that there's literature out there. So like we figure it out and we get to we all took the Molly that our friend gave us. We call the Uber, and one of the things on rollsafe.com says like drink a bunch of water. So before the Uber got there at like noon or whatever, I had already finished a gallon of water.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
By noon?
Yeah. So
oh, man.
We ate breakfast super early, and then all we all did was hydrate. And when the Uber gets there, our friend's like, yo, I need to go brush my teeth. The guy who got it all for us.
Okay.
He goes and brushes his teeth and comes back out. We're all in the Uber. He gets out there and he's like, yo, guys, like I just like gagged on my toothbrush and threw up while I was brushing my teeth. And I think I threw it up. And so we're like, okay, like that sucks. You know what I mean? But it ended up being a blessing because halfway to the beach in the Uber, it all starts to hit us. And the other 4 of us never did this before. So we're all kind of like sitting in the car, like rubbing our legs, like starting to sweat, getting just really nervous and anxious. And my best friend to my left was like, yo, like, I think I need to go back and not go out to the beach today. Like
the one that threw up?
No.
Different. Okay.
He was riding shotgun, the one that threw up. He called the Uber. He was the one in the shotgun. Our other friend was like, it was starting to hit him first before anyone. And he got super anxious. And so he said, like, I think I should go back. And I started getting anxious. So I'm like, bro, I'll go with you. We'll just ride this wave out. Like if we're already feeling like this now, it's going to get worse. Like that's what we were thinking. And so we were all just kind of like agreeing, like, let's just wait a minute and see. And then I start getting nauseous and I tell the Uber driver, like, I need to throw up. And so he like double lane traffic, like switches lanes, pulls into a gas station. We get there And right before I get out of the car, I throw up out the window. And it's just like so much water. So like the water in my stomach was just not settling. And then I go into the gas station. We all get out of the car because we're like, my friends are starting to freak out at this point because we're like thinking like, oh, the cops are going to like arrest us. We're all underage. Like we're doing drugs. Like we're not supposed to be doing this shit.
Yeah.
And when I get into the gas station, I'm sweating bullets. It's spring break. It's Fort Lauderdale. It's like, South Florida. It's hot. So
is that one of the symptoms though, is like sweating on Molly?
And I'm not sure how much we took, but like now that I've been doing this for a long time, I'm pretty sure that it was like at least 2 or 3 points because it lasted for so long.
And what is that?
So like a typical dose would be like a point.
Okay.
And that will like, you'll feel the effects, like you'll be peaking for like an hour to 2.
Oh, okay.
And so we're in the gas station and my friend like takes me in the bathroom and starts like wiping my arms with like we just grab like towels and like wiping me down, making sure I'm okay. And then I'm like, guys, like, I know that was like kind of fucked up what just happened, but I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Like this is going to be okay. And he's like, all right, we're going to get you an orange juice. We're going to get back in the Uber. We're going to go to the beach. So I get the orange juice and I take the first drink and it was just like, everything is heightened. Everything is stimulated. And it was like the best drink I've ever had in my life. And so we all agreed like, all right, let's just compose ourselves, get back in the Uber and drive to the beach. And so then we're pulling up to the boardwalk. And at this point it's hit us. All of us are like rolling in this, it was a minivan.
Gotcha.
And the Uber driver's like, what are you guys doing? Like, are you guys high? Did you guys like do Molly or whatever? We're like, yeah, we all did Molly. And he goes into the compartment, gets a pack of gum and gives us all gum. And he's like, you guys are about to have a great time. So he was like a super cool guy, like made sure we got there safe and everything. And I remember as we're pulling up to the boardwalk, Father Stretch My Hands Part 2 by Kanye West is playing. So it's like beautiful morning. We're just like, this is a peak experience in my life. I will never forget this day. It's one of the most important days of my entire life. And as soon as we get out of the Uber to walk onto the beach, me and my friend Mario, we're on the same wavelength. We're like, we're about to take this confidence and this like energy and we're about to just go have a field day. Like we're going to find as many girls as we can. We're going to vibe with everyone. And our other 2 friends, Adam and Eddie, they were like way more reserved. They were just like sat in the sand and just like played with the sand and just vibed with each other for like 5 hours. And me and Mario, first thing we do when we get out of the Uber is we run up to the first 2 girls we find. Turns out one of them was Instagram famous, like an influencer before influencers. And the other girl was doing like OnlyFans, but like on Snapchat.
Gotcha.
And we just like vibed with them for a little bit. And then the rest of the day is just like such a blur. It's not like I lost memory or anything, but it all was happening so fast. We were talking to so many people, running around. We were like running 2s, me and him. And then all of our other friends were like posted up, like I said. And the guy who threw up, who had experience with all this, was the one guy who didn't have the experience. So he was like making sure everyone was okay, which worked out very well whenever like I was getting sick because he like could take care of it. You know what I mean? But a part that I left out is that the first song that he played in the Uber, he turned it as high as it'll go. And he was like, you guys are going to love this. And it was bass music and like just the frequencies of the sub and like the vibration and everything just like felt like I was living inside of the music. And so that's when I realized like, no wonder people enjoy this type of music on this sort of, in this experience with this sort of, with this drug, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, that was like my first experience ever, like listening to EDM, being elevated on MDMA. And then at the beach specifically, I would argue that was one of, if not the most important days of my life, because it allowed me to experience life with no inhibition. I mean, that's like one of the, you could call it side effects, or like one of the effects of MDMA, is that you don't have any sort of anxiety, social anxiety or anything. And you are like in the moment completely being yourself. And it's called the love drug because there's like 4 neurochemicals in your brain that are like feel good chemicals. There's dopamine, there's oxytocin, there's like it boosts them all as high as they'll go. And then it lowers your stress hormones to as low as they'll go. And so you're basically feeling the best you've ever felt in your entire life. And just like how I was interacting with people and like going up to girls, talking to girls, having no sort of like anxiety, and actually just being over the top and probably overbearing. Mm-hmm. But it made me realize, and I was having success. Like girls were interested in me. Like it was just like one of those things where I was like, so I'm not a different person. I don't look different. I don't like my past isn't different. Who I am isn't different, but I'm just on an elevated frequency. And so after the fact, we had the best day ever. I come back at one point and they're like, are you guys ready to leave? And I'm like, we've only been here for 45 minutes and it had been 5 hours. And it was time to leave. Like it was like 6 o'clock or something like that. And so we go back to the Airbnb. And at this point, you're still feeling good, but you're not like peaked anymore. You just have like the afterglow effects or whatever. And I was just being really reflective. And I'm like, so in this sort of environment with all these people and like this experience being on this drug and everything, and like the way I felt and the way I behaved and how people received me was so, it was unlike anything I had ever experienced. And so there's like this expression that once a mind has been shaped by a new experience, it'll never go back to its original form. That's how I would describe that. So it was like I was introduced to what was possible if I just got out of my own way, you know? And ever since then, it's like now I know what I'm capable of, and I know like how I can connect with people. Mm-hmm. I can reach that level without the drug.
How?
It just comes down to like a belief or like a self-image, you know?
Oh, yeah. So it's like from the Molly, it changed your perspective and your own self-image. And so then after the Molly, you've been exposed to it and now you can't unsee it.
Correct. Obviously, you don't feel the same feelings and you're not on the same frequency when you're not on it, but you can recreate. It's like you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And that day showed me a piece of myself and also like a way to connect with others that I had never known before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like somebody listening to this is going to do Molly.
I would highly encourage, seriously. I mean, be safe, be responsible.
What was the website?
Rollsafe.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that was a good one. I wasn't sure where we were going to go or how it was going to go.
Well, one thing we both have in common is we were talking about it on the way to Panda Express earlier, like knowing that working a job somewhere is the absolute, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
How long have you known that? And then we also talked about like, I think the ultimate level of success is fuck you success.
Yeah.
Which is basically, hey man, I need you to do this, or you can't do this. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of like, I have authority in this. I've earned and fought my way to the top. And so now there is no telling me what I can and can't do. It'd be like if you went into a hotel and they're like, oh, sure, you can't wear that there. And it's like, who owns this place? Blah, blah, blah. Here's a check. I own this place now. You're fired. Don't ever talk to me again.
Yeah.
How would you does that make me a bad person to strive for that? Or
I don't think so. I mean, we talked about it yesterday that me and you probably have the same screws loose, you know?
Alyssa, we were talking about this the other day, and she was saying, she thinks one of my childhood traumas is possibly a lot of my shit ties back to being cut from the basketball team. And she was like, I think that's why you have
that's crazy, bro.
A chip on your shoulder.
That's funny.
With authority, because like that person said that you couldn't be on the team. And so she's noticed from being with me for 9 years now that like I do have a certain disrespect towards authority on like, well, that's stupid and I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to apply. That doesn't apply to me. Or like,
Yeah. What grade were you cut from the basketball team?
it's like 7th, 8th, and 9th or something. Like the years when like it's a big deal and,
Yeah.
you know, your friend group and like you're hanging out with everyone, you're playing basketball during the summer with everyone. And, you know, then it's like you're the one that gets cut. And I like walked her through, you know, they put the list of the kids that made it on the door. So I said, imagine like everyone runs in after the last day of tryouts and it's like, yo, did you make it? You know, it's like you go and rush and you see your name is not on the list. And then as you turn around, you're running into 15 of the other kids. What's up, bro? Is your name on the list? And it's like, and then the next person, did you make it? Did you make it? Did you? That like, that walk of shame. And then like getting picked up by your parents. And then like, I remember crying.
Yeah.
Or, like my dad could tell when I was like walking to the car, that whole thing. And so that made me a certain way of not wanting, I guess, wanting to be the boss. It's like, okay, I want to be the guy in charge. And in my, I don't know if the word's discernment or like my character or my decision-making, that makes sense. It makes sense to me. Maybe I didn't say it right, but.
No, you're good. But it's fun. Dude, we never talked about this before, but that same thing happened to me.
Real quick, if you didn't know, I offer a very limited amount of one-on-one calls. Whether you're feeling stuck or you just want personal help, go to crackhousestudios.com/call. Talk to you soon. Back to the video.
So, you know how we were talking earlier about like being in like elementary school and then when you go to middle school, it's like all the schools come together.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot more kids, right? And my entire life, like I think for me, what happened was from a young age, I'm the firstborn. So I'm a firstborn male.
In your family?
In my family. And every single person in my life, my grandma, my mom, my dad, my coaches, from the time I can remember to middle school, I was always told how great I was. You're so smart. You're so athletic. You're the best player on the baseball team. You're the best player on the football team. You're the quarterback. You're the shortstop. You're the
stud.
Yeah, and had the most home runs, best batting average, like everything my entire life. And in 6th grade, I got cut from the basketball team. Same thing, and the reason why it was is because in early development, I was always like not undersized. It was just like everyone's around the same size, you know? And then once you hit middle school, kids start to grow, get more athletic, get more developed. And I didn't. And so my skill and like my ability and my confidence from all those years of success, once I hit middle school, I lost it all. Like completely. Was starting to get like trucked on the football field. I remember in 6th grade, I got cut from the basketball team. People started calling me short, which I'd never been called short before. And then I remember I got, before tryouts, I was telling the football coach, like, yeah, I'm one of the hardest hitters. And like, cause in Bantam League, you're playing against, if you're in 5th grade, you play against 5th graders.
Yeah.
And then when we went to 6th grade, like I said, more schools come in. There's like bigger kids. This school has better players. These guys are growing. They had a huge growth spurt in the off season, like whatever. And I remember at one of the first days of practice, someone who I was like better than, he tackled me on one of those cone drills and I got timid and like kind of let him hit me. And he like picks me all the way up, drops me, and I started seeing stars.
Yeah. And
that was like a huge kind of like wake up call. Like I'm not the man anymore, you know? And so for those years, like 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, freshman year, sophomore year, I had like this chip on my shoulder that I couldn't get off because you can't like think your way into being like a better athlete. You can't grow 4 or 5 inches. Like I had no control over my outcome. The only thing I could do is just like work hard, but I always worked hard.
Yeah.
But that didn't change anything, you know? And so this is actually like a pretty good segue because whenever I hit my junior years, when I first started to like actually grow and found the weight room. And so all of the years of my life of like getting better at my craft, being like showing up, doing all the workouts, being more skilled. Once I hit this point where I could actually do something about it physically, get stronger, I started to grow. Then my trajectory in athletics started to take off. And once I got a little bit of taste of confidence again, that like reignited, I was reminded of those feelings and those, I guess you could just say like, I remembered who the fuck I was. You know what I mean? And so for my junior year, my senior year, and then my freshman year of college, I played baseball at the University of Tampa, were years where I was just like so focused on sports and my performance. And the only thing I cared about was like the weight room and sports. And so once that all ended, now it's like, now what? What do I pour into? I'm so competitive. My entire life, like I said, I've always like, things have come naturally to me. Things were easy. I was always just better than everyone else naturally. You could call that like talented, I guess you could say. But I wasn't, bigger, faster, or stronger. I had to work for that. So once I started working for that, combined with like my innate talents, I was able to like achieve things that most people weren't able to. Like I was the only player from my grade in my high school to play college baseball. In my junior year, I played JV, and that's like a big deal. Like juniors aren't supposed to play JV. And I went to like a relatively mid-sized school. So it's not like I was just outclassed or anything like that. I just wasn't as good, and the coaches didn't see me as such. And then my senior year, I was like winning awards and stuff. And then I went and played college baseball and got just to a point where I'm like, I can do shit, And then if we want to tie it into entrepreneurship, while I was in college, I was like a part of this network marketing company. And I would just like host these meetings after, everyone was done with classes, started like speaking in front of people, like getting college age kids to call their moms and like ask for $500 to join this program that I'm like pitching them on for an hour,
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh shit, like I have control over outcomes again. If you go to school for 4 years and you work for 40 years and then you retire, like someone else is in charge. And I got a little bit of taste of like early entrepreneurship with network marketing. And so I was capable of like taking matters into my own hands, if you will, realizing that I can do this without a degree, or I can be successful without a boss. And my whole life, I've always been adverse to that idea. I think it's because I thought I was smarter than everyone. I thought I was better than everyone. No one could tell me shit. You know what I mean? And that caused a lot of problems in my early life. Like I would like have problems with coaches because I had a travel baseball coach who was the best coach ever, but then everyone else like couldn't even come close. And I would always be comparing them. And I'm like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. And, coaches, especially high school coaches, don't like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I guess kind of like veering off just on a tangent here, but like that was like when I first started to realize that no more school, no more baseball. I still have all these like this drive and ambition. Like I need to pour it into something, and business, entrepreneurship, building something of my own was like the outlet for that.
Part of what you said in there aligns with something that Lord Hermosi said before. And he said that studying the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, they have three things, like three traits. One was they have where they feel like they're not good enough. So they have this kind of chip on their shoulder, like I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough.
Got something to prove.
Got something to prove.
Yeah.
They feel that they're more talented than everyone else. Like you were just saying, I felt like I was better than everyone else.
Yeah, a little bit of delusion.
Yep. And then the third thing is focus. The ability to focus on a specific thing for a very long time and delay the gratification.
Yeah.
And I think what's helped me with that part, not so much focus on one thing because my background is like beats and then studio and videos. And
Right.
I think now they're kind of coming under one house with Crack House Studios. But the gym, as far as like the delayed gratification, you have that as well too, where it's knowing that right now, if we did the best workout possible, we're going to look exactly the same tomorrow.
Yeah, just be sore as hell.
Also, if we don't work out at all and we go eat as many donuts as we possibly can, we're going to look exactly the same tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then it's a matter of, if you continue to do this for a very long time, then now you change how you look and feel in the future. And then the same thing with working out and whatnot. So it's like delaying that gratification. And that's part of the thing that I understand more than majority of the people that I do talk to. And I think that's why I have been able to be consistent for so long on social media, because I have that like when in doubt, zoom out mindset and mentality with, even with this podcast. This is like the 30th episode, I want to say. And I know I'm going to do over 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
So like the fact that however many views this gets, I'm completely detached from, because I know that I'm going to continue to show up and have a conversation with somebody on camera every single week. And I naturally don't give a fuck about like the weather, the time of year, the different things. And it's like the things that I choose to communicate about are topics that I talk to. There's people in my audience that give a fuck about those things too.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be some sort of free game or entertainment value or relatability for the audience. And so I can just keep doing this for a very long time, which is extreme level of delayed gratification. Like it might be 5 to 10 years before this actually like spikes.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Yeah. I think going back to those three things and like kind of like tying it in, the first two, right, are, you said it was chip on your shoulder and feeling like you're better than everyone else. Like for me, the feeling like I was better than myself or better than everyone was like something that I think I've just always had. And like I said, I think it ties back into like when I was younger in my developmental years, like I was just always told that you are better, you are smarter. Not like you're smarter than everyone else, but like just I got built up by so many people in my life. And then I started, experiencing success at a young age. And then once it all falls off, now it's like, okay, now I feel like I have a chip on my shoulder. And then going to the focus thing, where I first started to develop, discipline, focus, consistency was with the gym.
Yeah.
Specifically. I got a lot of, I guess you could say like early gains from the gym.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that I found the gym in my junior year. And then like I was telling you, like with how getting stronger and faster and more athletic, it just like bled into, better performance as an athlete. And then it also like I started putting on muscle. I started like getting, people would comment on like, oh dude, you're looking big, or like you're working out. It's like, it started to feel good. And then so I got obsessed or addicted.
That's how I did too.
Whatever you want to call it, with the gym. And then while I was in college, I was more focused on, my whole thought process was like, if I just make the team, it doesn't matter if I play a single game or if I, start every game. The only thing I'm focused on is just getting better. And up until that point, the way I got better was just in the gym. Mm-hmm. So like if my weights were going up, if I was hitting PRs in the gym, I kind of had this like idea that as long as that's progressing, everything else will kind of fall into place. And that idea kind of bled into the next 4 or 5 years into my early adulthood. After sports were over, after everything was done with, I refocused or kind of recommitted my life to the gym. Like that was, I tell people this all the time, like for 3 or 4 years, I was training to powerlifting, squat, bench, and deadlift. The only goals of my training sessions were make me squat more, bench more, and deadlift more. And the only metric by which I cared about whether or not my life was trending upward or downward was if I was hitting PRs in the gym. I didn't care about relationships. I didn't care about my financial situation. I didn't care. I had no other goals. It was just like, is the gym going well? And so in my early 20s, that was the only thing that I did. And I didn't miss a workout. I was telling you this earlier, like for 3 years, I didn't miss a workout. And I got so big, so strong. My mom accused me of doing steroids, and I never did, you know? And so from that, that's when I learned about this idea of sticking to a rhythm and then improving the rhythm, or just you can't optimize before you get consistent, right? That's what the gym taught me. If I show up every day and I do something, I'm going to see results. Yeah. And then as I'm seeing those results, if I want more results, I just have to improve the something that I'm doing. You know, whether that's, you know, finding a better system or being more efficient, or now I'm like focusing on the 23 hours outside of the gym.
All right, so you see and hear this quality. This is just one example of the many different services that we specialize in here at Crack House Studios. Whether you're a brand or business or an artist or creative, we offer services to help you grow. Everything from professional video content, audio, social media, marketing, coaching, or even if you're just looking for a place to create, we got you covered. 20 plus years in the game, we are the highest rated studio in the state of Michigan. Artists travel across the entire country, specifically to work with us here in Lansing, Michigan at Crack House Studios. If you're interested in any of our services, head over to crackhouse.studios.com.
Yeah.
And that taught me how to like go. I had a whiteboard, 500-pound deadlift was written on there for like 6 months, and I ended up deadlifting 535.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it taught me like everything I needed to know and learn about setting goals, achieving goals, ups and downs, you know, minor tweaks, injuries, setbacks, fallbacks, comebacks, all these things. And at some point in my mid 20s, I was like, I want to take all of this that I'm learning and who I'm becoming and put it into other things. Like, I don't want to just be in the gym. Plus, like, at some point, you can't just be in the gym for 4 hours every day. You know, I wanted to start like focusing or thinking about career or business, relationships, things like that. And like, once you get those things going, the gym now needs to become something that, or this is my experience, that enhances those things more so than becomes the only thing that you care about, right? Mm-hmm. So then like I said, I just took those same strategies or same frameworks that I learned from success in the gym and just started pouring them into music. Growing, you know, making beats, working with artists, showing up every day, creating as much output, being prolific as I could, which was the same thing as like showing up and doing my workout, except now I'm just sitting down at a desk and working on beats or something, you know?
I think working out and training is the foundation of success in a lot of areas. That's a belief that I have.
Yeah, we share that belief.
I think for me to coach anyone, okay, if I'm coaching two different people, or let's just say any two people, there's two people watching this right now. One person doesn't work out. Let's say they both want the same thing. They both want to grow their brand and business and be more successful and be more well-known. If one of the people does not train or work out or exercise and the other person does, I would bet everything that the person that does train and work out, their likelihood of success is like not even like double or triple or 4 or 5. I think it's like 30.
Infinitely. It's just infinitely better.
Like the other guy that doesn't work out doesn't stand a chance. Because if you think about it, people that don't work out, that's also a trait of being lazy. Right. And then another belief I have is how you do anything is how you do everything. Yes, so then it's like you have one body, and a practice that I've been practicing recently is I have to treat myself like a professional athlete and take care of my body. So like, I've been stretching more. I've been making sure that the gym has always been the foundation of mine, but like specifically with making sure that I'm walking or cleaning up the diet more, or even like sleep, you know, cause I caffeine, right. You know? But yeah, it's like in chat help with this where I'm just sharing like, hey, I'm 37 years old. I'm noticing that, you know, my energy levels are up and down and my focus and kind of brain fog. And I went through like, so this is an exercise that anyone watching this can do, is just say your age, say how you feel, and give as much context as you possibly can. So I said, I'm 37, my energy level, some brain fog, my focus, my memory, and here's what I do. And you have to be honest too. You can't be like, and I eat perfectly and get enough. It's like, no, I eat Panda Express. When I go to Panda Express, I order the double orange chicken. I eat this, and this. I drink about 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. I probably get anywhere from 5 to 7 hours of sleep a night. I smoke weed in the evening times. When I smoke weed, I hit it about 3 to 4 or 5 times. Like going into detail, like sometimes when I smoke and I get high, I eat sugar candy, said everything kind of like based on all of that. And then I lift weights this often, I walk this often. What is missing? And then, it was like, treat yourself like a professional athlete, and taking care of you helps you perform better. So it helps you even on a podcast. It's like, it may help you, your fast thinking and memory and knowing what to say and when to say it and how to articulate your thoughts and blah, blah, blah. Like everything is affected by everything that you do. And so, going back to like the lazy person, if I'm hiring, if there's 2 people applying for the same job and one person is fat and out of shape and the other person is not, I'm going to hire the person that is not, because that just shows that they're not lazy. Being lazy is like a huge detrimental thing. I think that's what
it's a deadly sin.
Most people's biggest issue is like themselves. And it's like, I think it's better to not know what to do and not do it versus knowing what to do and not doing it.
Sure.
It's like the whole, if you knew better, you should do better, but most people know better, but they don't do better.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. If we're talking purely like biologically, psychologically, and everything in between, the training, working out, even just like exercise in general, taking walks, like me and you both, we are
walkers,
traveling nomads. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about this earlier, like when it's nice outside, we're probably logging 1 to 3 hours of walking outside every single day.
For sure.
That also gets you like sunlight on your skin. Just like basic fundamental, like moving your body and like taking care of yourself is, if we're talking about like hierarchy of needs, you know what I mean? Like taking care of yourself physically, it's like check box 1 for everything else that comes after that. And I've experienced that for sure. Like I couldn't imagine not, firing on all cylinders if I wasn't taking care of myself, like fueling my body with high quality foods, hitting the gym, exercising, yoga, breath work, meditation. Those things are just like making sure that your body's a temple, right? Like that's it. Yeah. That's not just something someone says, like that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
It's housing you. You only get one and you live inside of it. And the better you take care of that, the better you can show up in your relationships and your business and all that. So,
and I'd also say to anyone that heard that and then thought, well, I've been able to achieve X, Y, and Z, and I don't work out or take care of myself. I promise you, if you did start working out and taking better care of yourself, you would feel better and you would do better in anything and everything that you do.
Yeah, well, time's undefeated too, right? Like, okay, are you in your 20s and you don't work out and you're still achieving? Are you in your 30s and you're still achieving? Are you in your 40s and still achieving? It's like people forget that we are going to live to be 100. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone, obviously, but like for the most part, like I choose to live my life thinking like I'm going to be 100 one day. Mm-hmm. Which means I'm going to be 90 one day, I'm going to be 80 one day, I'm going to be 70 one day. And it's like, what you're doing now is creating habits, personality. And by the time you're like 35, I think like statistically, it's shown that like who you are as a person when you're 35 is basically who you are. Obviously people can always change and stuff like that, but like you're fighting an uphill battle at that point.
Yeah.
So my advice, especially to people who are like in their early 20s, is hit the gym hard, get the body and physique that you want and feel how you want, like energy wise and all these things, because if you do it while you're younger, it doesn't just go away. Like there was a 5-year span in my 20s where I stopped training completely. I'm back at training. I just turned 30 a couple months ago, and your body remembers, your muscles remember, your mind-muscle connection, your nervous system remembers. And so I personally think that one of the best investments that any young men can make is just like getting in the gym in the early 20s because of everything I just said.
Let me ask you this. When you were really focused on your training and like getting stronger with everything, were you tracking the weights you did, the reps you did in your workouts?
Yeah. So I was pretty, like I said, obsessed. And that was like the most important thing in my life. So for 3 years, I had a training journal and I would track every single lift, every single weight, every single morsel of food, every single drink, everything. And I did that for like 2 or 3 years.
Every day?
Every day,
okay.
All day, every day. And I'm not saying people have to do that, but what that did for me specifically was it taught me a lot about myself and how I respond to training stimulus, to nutrition, to how much water I'm drinking, how much sleep I'm getting. And now I don't even have to worry about that stuff because I developed the intuition, I guess you could say. It came from learning, tracking, and knowing. And then now all that stuff comes intuitively. So I don't track calories anymore. I still, when I'm training, like I'm still making sure I'm like progressively overloading and like trending in an upward direction. But at first it was 100% like making sure I knew everything. And now I'm like kind of a lot more, first of all, it's not as important to me anymore. I have a lot of other things going on. So I don't want to spend all that time, effort, and energy tracking everything.
Yeah.
But I still track a lot of things, like daily habit tracker.
That's what I'm about to get into next is like everything from our past shapes our future. And so like there's nothing that goes to waste. So then it's like you had that 3-year span of literally tracking everything you ate and everything you lifted. And then now at the age of 30 and you're focused on becoming successful, entrepreneurship, building something. What, the night before you get a piece of paper and what do you do?
Yeah. So in my journal, every single day, I write down, on the left side, every hour of the day, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way till 11 p.m. And I just fill in every single hour with a time block of what I'm doing. So like today,
what you plan on doing.
What I plan on doing.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not like a straight jacket or anything. This is just like the plan, and the idea is that if you have a plan and things change, well, at least you're adjusting and being flexible. But if things don't change, you're probably going to hit everything that you planned on. So that's on the left side is just time blocking every single hour of my day. And then on the right side is just a clear goals list. So like, for example, if I have, 9 to 11 is my workout and then 4:30 to 5:30 is my episode with free game of crack. It's like on the clear goals side, it's what are the goals for each of those time blocks? And it might come out to 5 or 6 goals for each day on average. And then if at the end of the day, you look at it, everything that got done gets checked. Everything that didn't get done gets moved to tomorrow's list.
Yeah.
Or it gets crossed off if it becomes irrelevant.
Yep.
And I do that every single day.
I do that most days. And I'll tell you that my least productive, most unhappiest days are days where I wake up and I don't have a plan and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it's that like worrying and wondering on, I could do this, but then I could do this, but then I could do this, and I could, and me not having a plan. And I'd say my happiest, best, most productive days are the days where the night before I do exactly what you said and I write out. I would describe it to somebody as if everything were to go to plan, this is my goal for a perfect day tomorrow.
Yeah, you're setting your intentions.
Yeah, it's being intentional with how you want to spend the day. And yeah, the best days that I have are when I do that.
Yeah, and so another added element of that is when you plan the night before, while you're asleep, your subconscious mind prepares for all of that.
That part too.
Yeah, and when you wake up, you're in go mode. You're not in figure it out, then go mode. You know what I mean? You do what you say you're going to do.
There's no wasted energy on thinking what you're supposed to do like you did that the night before.
Correct.
And also there's a video I watched where it was basically saying like, it's not the current version of you, it's a future version of you has to do. So it's easier to assign tasks to the future version of you has to do versus the present version.
I want to introduce you guys to Royal Legacy Clothing. It's a clothing brand that myself and my best friend Dylan co-own. We started this about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we had a lot of different things to learn, a lot of life to experience, and we took a few years off. And then in this year, in 2022, I'm excited to announce that we're relaunching it. Now, what Royal Legacy Clothing means to me is picture the guy that comes into work just a little bit early, a little bit before everyone else, because he wants to get a step ahead. Picture the guy that when everyone else is done working, he stays late. He's the last one there because he wants more out of life. That person is who's wearing Royal Legacy. The goal is to build a legacy, so do that while wearing Royal Legacy. I'm just picturing my come up over the last 10 to 20 years, and I wish I could go back and show me wearing Royal Legacy during all of those years. I think self-awareness is key in knowing who we are, but also it's just as important, if not more important, to know who we are not. And who I am not is I'm not a loser. I'm not the guy that's never gonna amount to his full potential. And with connecting and networking and meeting a lot of different people, the people that I resonate with the most and connect to are people that all want more out of life. One life, one legacy. RoyalLegacyClothing.com. You guys can use coupon code CRACK and save 10% off at the checkout. We greatly appreciate all of your support.
So it's different to be like, okay, right now I'm going to do this, 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 and this. That's the present version of you. But yeah, the night before, it's like, okay, the future version of me tomorrow, he's going to do this. He's going to do, like, I'm assigning tasks for, it's like a different person, but the future version of yourself.
I have like an actual life philosophy about that. I look at life as like a game of chess. And on the chessboard, all the pieces, you know, you have pawns, knights, bishops, rooks, king, and queen, right? So in my game of chess, my game of life, I'm the king on the board. I have all these other pieces around me. These are the people in my life. But I'm also the person moving all of the pieces from like a zoomed out, higher dimension self.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I move all the pieces around me how I want. You know, that's like how you connect with others, your relationships, how you work with others, what you do. And then I'm also able to move my king, which is like what I tell myself to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's crazy. See, I've tried to describe that to Alyssa, where I was like, remember The Sims? There's a game where it's like you're controlling.
Yeah.
I said, try to imagine, because she was saying like, how do you, she runs things through the filter with feelings, which I think most people do.
Yeah.
Where they account for feelings way too much. I don't, because I always respond to her, and maybe it's just the more logical or the man versus the woman. There's a
masculine versus feminine energy there for sure.
I'm just like, feelings aren't even in the equation. Like, do you think I felt like doing X, Y, and Z? Or like feelings aren't even, that's not even on the table.
Yeah.
You know? But I was telling her, imagine if you zoomed out, like the video games where you either have, I think, first person where you just see the hand shooting, but then there's the other view where it's zoomed out and you can see the character.
Third person. So I was like, instead of first person, you got to go to third person, and now you're controlling you. And just think of what are all the things that are in common of like your happy days, of your good days. Because I try to help people with planning out the perfect week, the perfect day. And so we have like a whiteboard over there where it maps out all the days. And at first, when I was trying to do this with Alyssa, she didn't want to live, but she wanted the freedom and flexibility. But then I was saying, that's the wing it. Yeah.
Like that's the wing it approach. And that's not practical. Like if we had to bet money on us changing our life around and building something meaningful, do you think the strategy should be we just fucking wing it every day? Or we actually sit down and plan out the week intentionally and be like, okay, we know we have these things going up. Let's put these things on the schedule. Then now they're going to happen. And, you keep having an intentional week. And let's say things go 70% to plan every single week. Well, now when you zoom out after like a year, 50 weeks of 70% things going to plan, like you're in a different position of life.
Yeah. And I mean, some days are 110%,
For sure.
Some days you might have had an intention and got sick or something. And that's a 0 day, but I try to, my whole like idea or philosophy on that is I try to make every day a 7. So you, like you said, 70%.
Yeah. Like
I don't try to get too high. I don't try to get too low. I try to keep every day at a 7,
So you're a disciplined motherfucker. Somebody's watching this right now, and right now they're struggling with discipline.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the best best place to start.
Yeah.
With like, okay, I'm struggling with discipline. I need to be more disciplined. Is it pick one thing, or what would you tell them?
If someone was sitting right in front of me and they were like, so I would be like,
baby.
I'd be like, Crack, what you need to do is you need to identify what you care about.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah. What projects do you care about?
Big long-term project, build the studio. Okay. Short-term specific project, build Crack's Corner.
Okay. And then what are the other areas of your life that are also important to you?
Family, spending time with family, taking care of myself like an athlete. So like proper sleep, good schedule, diet cleaned up, working out, active.
Yeah. So what you would do is you would list all the things, the projects that are important to you and the, life things that are important to you.
Okay.
And then you would identify what tasks or habits that you need to create in your life and execute on a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once you know what your priorities are, and then you know the things that are going to move the needle in a positive direction, you identify the most important ones and you track those every single day.
With paper, with a spreadsheet, or
whatever works for you. You can use your phone. There's apps for this. There's, for me, I have like the Warpath Daily Habit Tracker, which is like a thing I created for myself, which is like a version of the 75 Hard, but it's my 5 daily habits, which are non-negotiable.
What are yours?
So the 5 things I do every single day are take a daily walk, plan my day the next day, or plan my next day the night before, which we already talked about. Deep work.
In deep work, like certain time length, or
90 minutes of deep work is the goal every single day.
Okay.
Deep work is just like you're focused on one task, and it's a task that's going to move the needle forward.
Okay.
And it's the most important task in that day. You can ask yourself, what's the one thing that if I get done today, everything else becomes irrelevant or easier?
Okay.
Right. So like for you today, you were like, the first thing I did is I went to the gym. And it gave you clarity on the rest of your day, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, that's like a good example. Not that going to the gym is deep work, and then posting on social media every single day. And then I don't remember all the ones I already listed off. So I might be missing one.
I think you named 5.
Okay. And so those are my 5 non-negotiables. And then I have about 10 other habits that I track. Those are the things that are still very important to me, but they're not the most important. And I track those every single day for every day of the month. And then at the end of the month, I just look and see what percentage of those am I executing on. And my goal is to hit 80% of the 5 non-negotiables, and then just use the percentages of the other habits to kind of gauge where I'm at in my life. So that's where I would start. You need to know what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to get priority, what's important to you, identify the things that are actually going to move the needle forward, and then track them. What gets measured gets managed.
What do you think the problems that most people make are? Because I would say the problem that I made in the past was trying to have 30 priorities.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm trying to film a YouTube video every day, post short form content every day, grow this podcast, do this, like have 50 things I'm trying to do. And I'm like setting myself up for failure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. Like me and you are a lot alike in the sense of we are so like, we're ambitious and we have a million things we want to do, but like not if nothing is a priority, nothing is a priority. If everything's a priority, nothing is a priority. And so you just really got to get clear on the season of life that you're in.
Yeah.
I talked about it earlier, like in my early 20s, the gym was my number one priority.
Yeah.
It's no longer my number one priority. It's still very important to me.
Same.
But that's not going to be, that's not my make or break right now.
Yeah.
The other things that I mentioned were, and it's like, so you got to get crystal clear on your priorities, and then you have to stick to a program that works for you. And when I say program, I mean like your own version of discipline, right? It's not about the newest trick or like what's like the trend going on right now. It's about figuring out what are the important things for you to do that are going to move the needle for you.
Yeah.
And sticking to that without judgment or, I guess, getting caught in the ups and downs of the daily life. You just got to stick to the plan.
Okay. Now, one of your non-negotiables was posting on social media every day. Yeah. Why? Why is that important?
Dude, it's 2025, about to be 2026. With everything that we're doing and most people in their lives now, like growing a personal brand is the highest leverage asset that we can all build. And so for me personally, like DJ, producer, online coach, all these different things that I have going on, it's important to me, for me to share my ideas and connect with other people and ultimately be able to build an audience of people who know what I do, why I do it, and want to work with me.
Yeah.
And most people who are looking to achieve something that's outside of, the traditional 9 to 5 or like going to work or whatever, like need to be building a personal brand.
Yeah. I believe it. Like a motherfucker, man. That's been my bread and butter for over a decade, has been building the personal brand.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Your ability to build your brand is why I'm sitting in this. And I would say it goes both ways. Like, I started posting content. I started like taking it seriously. You were able to, you posted something looking for help. Yeah. And then I'm sure you vetted me, I'm going to go look at his stuff. You saw I had a podcast. I was a producer.
Your most recent post, and I was looking for an operations system guy. Your most recent, or one of your 3 most recent posts, was a clip from your podcast, and you were talking about having a system in place, and everything should have a system and how you execute it. And I'm like, this is the guy then. Yeah. I need help with systems and stuff. And then here's proof on your page. And to be honest, if you had one post on your page, I probably wouldn't have responded to you.
Right.
And I think I get overwhelmed and bombarded with a lot of people that reach out that want to offer things and they have no type of proof on their page of anything.
Yeah.
So content is the resume, bro.
Consistent content,
that too. Yeah, I had somebody reach out. I'm always needing help with shit, and I post it on the internet. So I'm needing help with building something. I don't know. This is like maybe a year ago, but I remember I had this guy that was overly confident on like, I know how to do everything. I can take everything you're doing to the next level. I have answers. I know this person and this person. And he's saying all the, like, writing me paragraphs on Facebook, paragraphs. One thing that people need to understand is we're all busy. And so time or a phone call does have a cost to it.
Absolutely.
There's opportunity cost. So most people that have an abundance of time can't comprehend that maybe not everyone is in the same position as them. And other people have the opposite of abundance, like very scarce, limited amount of time. So that phone call that is free, there's a cost to it. And so in order for me to be strategic with how I use my time, just like how you said, I probably vetted you and I did vet you. So this guy reached out and said he had every answer to everything on I clicked on his page to see, let me see some sort of proof. Nothing but like shared brain rot memes on his page with 0 likes, 1 likes, and he's posting, 57 times a day with 0 likes or engagement. It's like, you're clearly not the guy, my guy.
Yeah.
So of course I didn't entertain that. And I remember my takeaway was like, this is why it's so important for you to be intentional and strategic with what you post on the internet, because thou shalt not judge, but motherfuckers judge.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are going to click on your page and be like, are you legit? Are you, this guy was not legit at all.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about it, be the walking, talking billboard of whatever it is you're doing, selling, preaching, talking about,
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is documenting your proof.
What would you say has been your biggest challenge when it comes to content that maybe I might know a thing or two, or maybe I don't?
I think everyone has at least a little bit of what I'm about to say, which is overwhelm to start. Like, what do I post? How much do I put? Like all the minutia, And so for me, it was just like, where do I start? Like, does it need to be high quality?
Yeah.
Dude, I just started walking outside, putting my phone in my face and just talking shit, basically, you know, like whatever, basically just regurgitating whatever thoughts were going on out loud. And then that's how I got started. And then stick to the rhythm, right? Do that every single day. You start to just like get an idea of like how you can improve on that.
Yeah.
And then that's where, you know, for me, like one of my biggest lessons in life is that you find people who have done what you want to do and you pick their brain and you learn from them and you apply the things. And so having you as a mentor in that regard has helped me a lot already. You know, like we've talked so much about like how to improve my content, my strategy, my consistency and everything like that. And right now I would say my biggest challenge is I needed to get like a little bit more clear on who I was talking to.
Yeah.
You know, you also were experiencing that.
Yeah.
Now I have like a lot of clarity on that. Now it's like, how do I get them to give a fuck?
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, an endless amount of content being posted every second.
Yeah.
We couldn't possibly consume it all.
Yeah.
So how do I get people to actually give a fuck about what I say or how like the message that I'm bringing? And like also once they understand that, how do I get them to know that like I'm someone that they either want to connect with, work for, you know what I mean? So that's like my biggest challenge right now is to like stop them in their tracks and like get them to pay attention.
Yeah.
So like hook them, you know, and then make it worth their time for the 30 to 60 seconds. Or if it's longer form like this, like how to get people to give a fuck, I think is the most important.
I think, so I did a coaching call like 2 days ago. And one of the things that I told this guy about was he's a creative, he makes beats, does videos. And so on his page, it was damn near like portfolio. But I was like, who are you? And I said, what's missing is the human aspect. Like, who are you as a person? And I said, hopefully from some of the content that I've shared, you were connected to the human side of me. And he was like, absolutely, bro. I know you have a daughter. I have a daughter. I know you're married, blah, blah, blah. I know that you're building the studio. And so it's all of the human shit is what really drew him to me. And I think like now that you're getting into performance training and whatnot, it can't just be how to get jacked, how to get stronger, whatever. It has to be, I think me and you both after this should each do like just a walking talk to the camera one.
Yeah.
So like, let's both high five to that. Okay, so we're both going to do a piece of content after this.
Yeah.
You're going to walk solo, say something to the camera. And just something could be just like a takeaway from this hour-plus conversation.
Yeah.
Just something. And then the same thing for me. And I think I used to not want to share the lows because I didn't want to be like a negative Nancy and be like, I don't want to talk.
I still have a hard time doing that.
I know.
That's tough.
But then I found, and I didn't do this for a long time. So it was only just like another win, another win, another win.
Or
hey,
you go quiet.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're not
if
winning.
you don't have a good win or good news to share.
Yeah.
And I remember sharing like just bad news, like, guys, the studio's struggling. What do you guys want to see more of it? Like, how can I cater to your needs and this, and this? And it's not easy. And this is a struggle. But I remember getting comments on it and it was like, damn, Crack, this is like my favorite thing that you've ever posted because it shows that you are like me and that you are human. And, you know, prior to me posting some stuff like that, it just seems like you're on a winning streak. Yeah. So then when everyone else, because like everyone is going to deal with highs and lows. Everyone's going to have wins and losses. But if all you are broadcasting is the wins, it makes you very hard to relate to.
Yeah.
Which is like my main reason why I struggle to relate to a lot of the creators that I find online. And it's like typically the ones that I do, it's because there is this level of vulnerability or this level of, I just think sharing the lessons from the losses.
Yeah.
Is like, definitely should be a content bucket. It's just lessons. Because if you think about that too, the remainder of your entire life, you're always going to be learning. You're always going to be, and then it programs your brain to start looking for lessons. Because you're like, one of my content buckets is lessons. So now that I have to share lessons, it's like a thing would happen in your life and you're like, a lesson. Sweet, I'm gonna go for a walk and I'm gonna talk. this thing just, where if maybe this isn't a thing that you're sharing, because also it's an outlet. So it's like a therapeutic, it's therapy. It allows you to, instead of just deal with it.
You're expressing it.
Like what we talked about last night, you're going through some shit right now.
Yeah.
That's like very relatable, very authentic, very like, you don't see every other fitness guy talking about this, or even creative, or even music guy, or even entrepreneur, or even somebody growing their personal brand. Like, but like everyone has dealt with what you're going through right this second. And it's just, you know, finding the right way to talk about it without like all of the specific details.
Right.
Because even with myself, I can't specifically say certain financial challenges with building the studio, you know, but I can say it's not easy.
Shit ain't easy.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that I shared with the one podcast and I like cried on it, talking about when the studio almost closed.
Yeah.
But it showed a side of me that people haven't seen. And it's like, oh shit, you know, maybe someone that's seen that was behind on rent and they were trying to like relate to me. And then they're comparing themselves to what they see, this perfect version of me.
The highlight reel,
the highlight reel. And they're like, wait, damn, so he was struggling with the studio. Oh, he's just like me.
Yeah.
And I think the more, oh, you're like me, the stronger there is that bond or that trust or that relatability.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like, I agree with everything you're saying. And I like, it's about embodying it though.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not just about knowing it or intellectualizing it. It's about embodying it. And I think just like a quick example of that is like, I'm supposed to be like the performance training, big, strong, invincible guy in the gym helping other people. And like, I just fucked up my hamstring so bad last week after fucking up the other hamstring the week before. And now I have a bilateral hamstring strain and I'm like, can't even walk, you know? It's like,
have you talked about that?
No, and it's content? Like, but it's because it's depressing, you know, in a way. It's like, fuck, man, like I have this momentum. I'm like posting content. It's like all good, win, highlight reel shit. And now I got to like step away from this because I can't even like work out for a week or, you know what I mean? But to your point, it like reframes that as an opportunity instead of a loss. It's a lesson. Yeah. Lessons, not losses. One of my friends said that a long time ago, and I like put like that one in a safe and locked it up, you know?
I'm going to put that on the wall here somewhere.
Yeah.
I love it. What was your mantra for this year?
What was it for this year? What's it for next year?
What was it for this year? Then what is it for next year?
So my mantra this year was you have to get consistent before you can optimize. It was all about becoming a finisher.
Yeah. Break that down.
Yep. And then
we'll break that down.
Oh, break it down. Yeah. So I've been saying since I've got here, stick to the rhythm, improve the rhythm, right? That's like how you get good at anything, how you get better at anything. And so you can't, let's use someone who makes music as an example. You're not going to be able to become a better, let's call it a beat maker, right? I have a lot of experience doing that. So I made beats for like 8 years for artists and stuff. And if I wanted to get better at making beats, the first thing I have to do is show up consistently.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're not showing up, it doesn't matter if you're like, I fell in this trap a lot. Go on YouTube, learn something, fall in love with the idea of getting better, watch another video, learn. And I like glorified that for years. Oh, I'm learning so much, but then my beats weren't getting any better. But so now there's like a cognitive dissonance between who I think I am and who I actually am showing up as, because I learned a lot of stuff above the neck, but didn't show up in the body, in the flesh, and embody who I knew I was. And so there was no consistency in just doing the thing. So step one in getting better at anything is creating the space in your life to show up. That could be, the time block. That could be the actual environment. That could be the relationships that you need to curate or discussions you need to have with people that I'm going to be in the gym from 8 to 10 every day. Don't fucking call me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. Then once you're consistently showing up, now you're collecting information, you're collecting data, you're getting results, or you're not getting results. And now you know what the next level of improvement needs to be.
Yeah.
So you're identifying a bottleneck at that point.
Yeah.
So the key to growth in anything is everyone starts here at A and everyone wants to get to B. And it doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve, there are steps along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And how you get from A to B is you have to walk through every single checkpoint. And those checkpoints are what I would call bottlenecks. And so if you're not showing up, you're not hitting the wall.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to improve on. So by showing up, you're figuring out what your bottleneck is. Then that's when you can go to YouTube, a mentor or whatever, and being like, hey man, I'm consistently showing up, but I'm not getting the results that I want. It's like, okay, what are you doing? What's working? What's not working? Identify the bottleneck and then create either a system or develop a skill or whatever, change your approach. And now you're past that checkpoint.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hit another bottleneck. And then you just keep passing these checkpoints and eventually you reach your end goal or you go from A to B.
Yeah.
But if you're not consistently showing up, you can't improve on something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know? So that was my mantra for this year.
My mantra for this year has been, I think, just show up or keep showing up.
Mm-hmm.
I would say keep showing up.
Yeah. You talked about it the other day, like you detach from the outcome, show up. You can't fucking.
This is the healthiest place I've ever been in my entire life with being completely detached from the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's crazy to think that like last month was a slow month at the studio because I was where I'm at now and I am more spiritual. So like it's how they said, let go and let God.
Yeah.
It's me knowing I'm smart. I sat down and I was intentional with what do I need to do, write it out, everything that I needed to do, and then just show up and do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like I am doing everything in my power. It's literally only a matter of time before it does work and I see the outcome from it.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing with, the podcast. It's like, just keep showing up. Okay, every Thursday we're filming. Every Friday we're dropping. Just show up. Detach from the views, the followers, the whatever. But what's even cooler is as a result of just showing up, there's growth.
Yeah.
Like the podcast in the last 6 months is growing at like 2,500%.
Yeah. That's
which
awesome.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But even if it was growing at 25%, I'm still going to show up because I know like, what's the alternative? Stop showing up, stop growing, nothing happens.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
What you're talking about right now is faith in action.
Faith plus action equals.
Faith in action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have faith without action, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the people that are like, I'm not going to do anything, but I'm just praying to God. God, I pray that you give me $20,000 a month and I can do this. It's like, well, cool. You should pray for that. You should believe that that's possible, but you still have to hold yourself accountable in what are things that you need to do in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then in my head, as long as I know that I'm smart and I write out a list of these things and now I assign it to my calendar and this is what I'm doing, I'm detached from the outcome. Same thing with social media. I know that if you pull up my grid right now, it's like 1,000 views. The next one is 300 views. The next one is like 13,000 views. The next one is 6,000 views. The next one is 200 views.
That's a fucked up game to play too, trying to like care about that, you know?
Well, every person that I've met in my entire life that cares about that, they all have one thing in common and they're all unhappy.
Miserable.
And they're miserable. And they hate social media.
There's no control, you know?
Right.
So you can't put your happiness on a metric that you have no control over.
It's the guy that only wants to hit home runs.
Yeah.
And they haven't accepted reality that like the best home run hitters of all time hit at this batting average.
And they had singles, doubles, triples. Whoops, home run.
Yes.
Jab, 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 right hook.
Yeah.
You know, can't just always go for the knockout.
So now your mantra for next year, 2026.
Yeah, it's sit still, consume less, produce more.
And then why those three things?
Because this year I did not sit still at all. I consumed way too much and I did not produce nearly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your plan to go about doing that?
Yeah. So over there, actually, you saw me doing the exercise earlier. in each of those 3 categories, sit still, consume less, produce more. Sit still, I wrote down all the things that I do as practices that eliminate all of the external noise and stimulation. So those are like meditation, breath work, high quality sleep, yoga, things like that, where there's not a lot of inputs. It's just like removing stimulation from my brain and from my environment.
Okay.
And the reason why that's first is because most of the time when we're over consuming, what we're actually doing is we're escaping from what we feel, think, and what happens when we sit still. So if we're not sitting still, it's because we're uncomfortable with what comes up, what exposes, what shows. You're literally sitting still is like the only time you're with yourself.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't do that enough this year, and I'm like realizing that it's because everything that's been going on in my life, like all of the challenges and struggles and this, that, and the third is like it's overwhelming and it's a lot.
That makes it. That's why a lot of people like to just stay busy.
Yeah.
Because it's distracting you from the reality of the circumstances, and you're like, not going to look at that right now. Let's stay busy. I'm going to vacuum this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go here, and then now I'm going to go for a walk, and then I'm going to call this person, and I'm going to watch this video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel that when you sit still, that's when it's like, nope, here's the mess. Look at it, sit in it, accept it.
Yeah. And so with that, it caused me to overconsume social media, nicotine, caffeine, addictive relationships, like all these different things to escape from just like sitting with myself. And so I overconsumed. So I wrote a list of I just listed some of them, you know, I'm going to consume less of those things this year. And then ultimately so that I can become more productive.
Yeah.
Produce more music, produce more training sessions, produce more coaching clients. I listed out for myself, and I recommend everyone do this. Like, this is an exercise. Figure out all the things that you do that you enjoy that allow you to get still. Journaling, walking, meditating, praying, whatever practices those are. Identify the things that you're over consuming. Create rules for yourself. I'm not going to watch more than an hour of short form content every day, or I'm not going to, if you have a substance that you're either like addicted to or abusing or just using that you don't want to, either cut it out or drastically put restrictions on it.
Yeah.
And then figure out like ultimately, what are you looking to produce more in your life? More experiences, more joy, more output of music or produce a better body in the gym, like whatever. And then once you know how to sit still, what you need to eliminate and what you're going to produce, you can go back to what we were talking about earlier, which is like, now I'm going to create a list of daily action items.
Yeah.
You know,
I think my mantra for 2026, it's been recent already, but like what I'm carrying over is stop suppressing.
I saw you wrote that yesterday or something.
Yeah. I thought it was probably yesterday.
On your story last night, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you mean by that? Stop suppressing.
I feel like a lot of people have a gift and it's like they don't have the courage. So they suppress it.
Don't hide your light. Shine bright as fuck.
Shine that motherfucker. Ding, 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 ding. You know, like, man.
Have you seen Coach Carter?
Yeah.
Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. It's that we're powerful beyond belief. And like, basically the only thing we're afraid of is not reaching our own potential.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I never comprehended it.
Yeah.
I remember that from the...
He keeps asking you, what is your deepest fear? He's like, what the fuck? He keep asking me that.
Yeah.
And one of them gets it.
Yeah. So like with Alyssa recently, she'll have an intuition about a thing, but she doesn't say it. And then like something will happen and she'll say, oh my God, I had a feeling of this, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure. And I was like, well, that's your intuition. Your intuition was right. And you suppressed it.
Oh, yeah.
Fast forward, then it was like the next day, another thing happened. And she was like, oh my God, I was going to say this again too. And I was like, that's your intuition again. Like your intuition is telling you something and you're suppressing it because you're worried about being wrong. So I said, instead, next time, just say, I could be wrong, but right now my intuition is telling me that we shouldn't do this. I don't know why, but I'm just throwing it out there. So just in case if it does go, now we have like proof that beforehand I said this about my intuition.
Yeah. How are you suppressing? Or I guess you said don't suppress, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you in 2026?
I think sharing way more unpolished content. So like just buddying up with my phone a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think with my background, so the world didn't do this. I chose to box myself into like, nah, I need these things.
Right.
The world knows me for, I'm the music video guy, so my quality always needs to be professional and 4K and color graded and lighting and this, and this. But I was talking to somebody and they were like, the world didn't, like, you keep identifying as
it's a limiting belief. It's that you need to have a certain level of quality with a certain level of equipment.
Exactly.
And it's preventing you from expressing yourself entirely because setting this shit up takes time or,
for sure.
you know.
So I think it's that. It's there's some nights where Alyssa will help me just do like some simple phone content. In a matter of like 15 minutes, we'll do 5, 6, 7 video, like fly through the content. When meanwhile, if we were to use the cameras and the lenses and stuff, it's like, that might be 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know? And so now I have so many things that I want to do that now, what's crazy, because as I'm saying this, I feel hesitation in me on like, you're not there yet.
That's okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But like, I'm accepting that the message is more important than the packaging, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, people don't just watch me because like the quality looks good. Like people watch me because like, oh, that was entertaining or that was funny or that was relatable or good message here or, you know, that. And I'm thinking like, because I prioritize on quantity and I know that I think that's the solution and that's the answer. And so in order for me to get to that next level of quantity that I want to be at, I have to remove one of the barriers, which is everything's got to be moi.
Right.
And so I am going to be doing a lot more phone content, would be suppressing. But then also with just being like, that being the message that I preach over and over, because in my audience, from all these people that I'm talking to, it's like so many people that are talented, that have a gift, and then it's just like they lack courage and confidence.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, what you just said to me in private, 1-to-1, like that was a gym. You should say that on camera. They're like, oh, I know. And then they go right into that, like
their shell, basically.
And I'm like, man, stop suppressing.
Yeah.
You need to share that.
So
like,
it's a message for yourself and for your audience. Stop suppressing.
Yeah. Which kind of aligns with what we were talking about earlier. One of my mottos has always been be a walking, talking billboard for what you offer. And so like, if what I'm preaching is stop suppressing, I best not be the motherfucker that's suppressing, you know. It's got to be like, here's a podcast, another podcast, a YouTube video, short form, funny shit, studio shit. Like just an overwhelmed of, I would say, if somebody doesn't like me, but they still choose to follow to keep up, you're going to hate 2026.
I love that.
Because peekaboo, here I am again.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, like, what is the alternative? The alternative is you suppress, you make less of an impact on the world, because that's one of my things I want to do is income and impact. So less of an impact, less of income. I'm a creative and it is very therapeutic. Like this shit is therapy for me.
Absolutely. The opposite of depression is not joy, it's expression.
Ooh, I was going to say the opposite of, oh, okay. No, you're right. I think, because you said depression. I'm like, oh, suppression rhymes with depression.
Well, those are one and the same.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah.
If you feel depressed, you're probably suppressing.
Yeah, you're not expressing yourself authentically. That's like actually the definition.
Facts.
I mean, obviously, clinically and all that's different, but like in this context, the opposite of depression is expressing.
Yeah. Like I'm doing my first workshop next month.
Yeah.
And I thought about like walking out
Let
and
'em
doing the shoulder lean. To kind of just like fully rip the Band-Aid off or jump in the pool.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't dance or do that shit. And I just thought like, if I have the shoulder lean song play and I come in and I do the shoulder lean, then it's like, all right, you just embarrassed yourself. So now educate people and give some free game and help people. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So where can people find you online?
All social media platforms at Be Real Beats. BREEL Beats. Be Real, Brandon Real.
Yeah.
You know, it takes some people a little bit longer to make that connection.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Free Game of Crack podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're tuned in on Spotify, do me a favor and please give it a 5-star review. Will you give it a 5-star review?
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Shout out to Brandon, aka Be Real Beats. Good conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, bro. This is fun.
Absolutely. I love your hoodie.
Thank you. Yeah. You want to drop it? Drop a little knowledge on them? What is it? What are we working with here?
World Legacy Clothing. Started this in 2013 with my best friend Dylan. He had a clothing line before this and it was called Crazy Cartel. And I supported it because he was my friend, right? But like the whole theme behind it was young, wild, reckless, crazy cartel. It had like a money gun and skulls and stuff.
You mean that's not you?
Not me at all. I'm like the complete opposite. And I remember he had a business partner that wasn't really business partnery. And it was kind of all him. And then he was like, hey, man. And I was a model at the time. Like I was the local influencer that would wear the stuff in my YouTube videos and stuff or be in the photo shoots. And then, he reached out and was saying, would you want to start a clothing line with me or be my business partner? And I said, well, yeah, I wear clothes. I make a lot of content. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I would love to have a clothing brand. But if I do, it can't be Crazy Cartel. It has to be something like on brand with me, like serious clothing, determination clothing, like motivation clothing, something like that. And we really wanted like legacy, like the word legacy, life, deep meaning, legacy clothing. And then that was taken. And then we kept adding things to it. Legacy lifestyle clothing, legacy something. And then we landed on royal legacy on like, just being remembered as a king, like live life like a king, like that style. And so then for a while we were going more of the medieval theme. So like, how Nautica is like surfing.
Yeah.
So our theme was more medieval. So it'd be, life's biggest, I don't know, some sort of motivational shit. But instead of like random graphics on there, it would be more knights and shields and swords and stuff like that to be on brand with Royal Legacy. And yeah, man, we've had this going every season. We took a good 3 years off. And then in 2026, we're bringing it back. We're relaunching it. And one of the first items is what you're wearing right there. That hoodie, available in a couple
this
colors.
Bitch is crispy too.
I know. Down the back, it says Leave a Legacy.
Oh yeah.
We got that available in a couple colors. And we have it available in a t-shirt. And that will be at royallegacyclothing.com. And I have a coupon. If people use the coupon code CRACK, you can get a discount. We may have to put this
That's
ad,
the exclusive podcast right there.
We have to put the ad in the middle of the episode
we
to
can do
like,
that.
Break it up. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's go.
Yeah.